nice, cool, crisp air up here in the Northeast. As I say good morning and enjoy this morning cup of coffee. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you, Lord, for another day that I can realize where I am in life, where I can appreciate the good things, meet the challenges to be the best version of ourselves, best version, or be better with the version that is left of myself today moving forward. And also to appreciate the things that I already have: a roof on my head, loving family, friends to talk to, the ability to speak, read, write, enjoy things in life, appreciate these things that we already have. The ability to be miserable, the ability to cry, to be sad, to be angry, all these feelings that we're able to feel. Some people don't have that ability anymore. Be thankful for that because it's already there. And if you start off with gratitude for things we already have, everything is icing on the cake. Everything's just a plus. Appreciate what you already have because we take it for granted. And how's everybody doing this morning? Good morning, Natalie. Good morning, Michael. Thank you for saying hello. And Mike, hello from Germany. Yeah. And the dogs are saying good morning too. Hope you don't mind the screaming and the barking. I'm going to let that go. Bruno has that really deep voice, doesn't he? And of course, the little one, Bo, just wants to add on to that. Dogs, it's what they do. Especially when I should have prepared and realized this was going on. But in today's talk, I wanted to bring up yesterday, my brother stopped by and we were going through memory lane, playing games. If you watch right after this, check out the video I just loaded. And it's just fun because we were talking about the old days, talking about the games we used to play and how we like to make up stuff all the time just to make it fun. And one of the things I loved about making things fun was the ability to just enjoy the moment. And we were just talking about, the games we played were so violent. Why are our games that we played when we were violent? Well, it teaches us about life. It prepares you for other things. Now we look back, I can use that as an example. But the anticipation, the anxiety of it all, we create our own problems. But it was fun to be able to go back in time to do that. It was always fun to be able to go back. But in our conversations also, it also got to the point where we were saying, hold on for a second, Bo, all right, come on over. So we were saying about looking back and the things that we used to do, the things that we could do back then. There we go. Thank you. Oh, hold on for a second. All right, I guess I had to run outside and go use the bathroom. So, sorry about that. Oh, like I was saying, one of the interesting things about looking back is that we also brought up things that we used to do, we used to play, but the way we used to be. And that's one of the things I was thinking about, having conversations with people who always look back and saying, I used to be able to do this. I used to be able to do that. And I thought about that. I go, how is it that when we review things with the used to be, it's usually in like a negative regret thing. I used to be able to flex. I used to be able to hit this way. I used to be able to move this way because we were talking about our martial art training. I used to be fast this way. I used to be all that. The comparison of the used to be seems to just hold us down and make you go, yeah. Now, one of the things we talk about is we don't want to waste our time comparing ourselves to other people, because we're not them. We don't know who they were. We don't know what they do, how were they brought up, what their training, what their background is. So stop comparing, because no matter what it is, you are not them. You are you. But then, if you start comparing yourself with others, all that does is just make you have these unrealistic expectations of what you want to be when you compare, because you only see what they've accomplished. You don't see what it took for them to get there. Or you don't even see that maybe they're focusing on this one thing, they've given up on other things that are important to you. Some people are very successful and they're doing this. They don't have families, they're divorced. They may have very good at this one thing they've given up. So you can't compare and say, I want to be that way. You don't know their story. You only can know yourself But then, okay, good. So I'm stopping myself from comparing myself to others. I can only compare myself to myself. I can only compare myself to myself. Why would you compare yourself to yourself? Isn't that another thing? Because the habit is there of comparison. But when I start comparing to my old self, I start using it as something productive. How? Because then I started to realize when I used to say I used to do this, I used to do that, I started feeling like it's just sad that I'm not that anymore. Or the nostalgia of it just says, yeah, too bad we're not there anymore. But instead, I'm telling myself, but I can do this, but I can do this, and I can do this. Because it brings me back to the present and here and now and where I'm headed. Can't go back in the past and compare myself to that anymore. And a lot of times it's like, yeah, you used to do that and it used to work for you then, but what about now? What can you do now? Where you are is where you are. And that is where you start improving yourself upon. That is your point of comparison from where you are. Why? Because it's productive that way. You know, one of the things I truly love, if you ever get this, you know, there was this young gentleman, and one of the things that he did that I was so inspired by was he learned martial arts despite his limitations. He had a physical limitation. He couldn't walk. He was on a wheelchair, and he was contorted. His body was contorted. That's all he could do. Aaron Rodgers. You can look him up. The guy's amazing. But what I loved about his adaptive martial arts was that he could only do this. This is all I can do. But I can move this. I cannot uncross my arms. They're stiff this way. But I can move this, and that's all I can do. But I can do this. Okay. Let's arm that. Now let's train Kali this way. Can you strike here? Can you do this? Yeah. Then you can slash and stab. You can back fist and back fist. You can throw an elbow. You can hook and strike. You can slash and attack this way. Now, if you hold the stick this way, I can strike you this way. If I do this, now all of a sudden, if I have two pens, and this is what here, then I can do the adaptive way of moving because this is all you can do. You weaponize what you can move. A lot of people go, you know, in martial art training, you go, when they attack, you're struggling on the things that's being held to you. I'm going to struggle with this. But you have other parts, your knee, your elbow, your hips, that you can move. There are other parts of you that are still functional. But I can do this. So looking at that is the same way I would do it when I'm starting to feel nostalgic. I'm starting to feel back. I used to be able to do this. Is it constructive? No. Is it making me feel held back or sad? Is it making me feel regret? Then I don't use that. Instead, but I can do this, and I can make this better. But I can do this. Now here's the thing. There are certain things that are far and gone. It's done and over. Accept it. You're never going to be this way anymore. But I can do this. And then I'm going to start to see things that help me adapt, improvise, and overcome. In the old days, I could take my hand and I could smash this brick. Bam! And now I can hit and hit and hit. But now, if I did that, I'd probably get hematoma and get a stroke from blood clots or everything, or hurt my bones. So, I still can smash a brick with a hammer. You start to look at things around you that can do the work of what you used to be able to do. You have family, friends, and everything. I used to be able to stretch and all that so I could kick so high. Now, you want to kick high? Yeah, I'll just take somebody and let them kick it for me. I can use friends. I can do that. I could not do this and everywhere. Yeah, you got a car now. I used to be able to do that. Stand on my head. All right, good. I'll ask somebody else to stand on their head. I don't need to do that. So there's certain things that I look back and go, I used to be able to do this. Yeah, but do you know what it took to be able to do that? Are you still willing to do that work today to get just for that one thing? Yeah, you're right. I picked on a memory of what I could do, but that doesn't serve any purpose today. It doesn't even make sense to do that. I could hurt myself doing that again. So one of those things is, once again, what you see is, but I can do this, is also that I also have amassed so much wisdom and knowledge today that I don't have to work harder, I can work smarter. Such as the analogy of, yeah, I can't smash it with my hands, so I'll just get a hammer and use the hammer. Much easier, right? Yeah, I'm not as fast anymore, but fast is relative. I won't be able to run there, but I can use my wheelchair to get there, and I can be fast with the wheelchair, if that's where I am. And some of the things also, one of the martial art analogies that my teacher goes, with training, how fast are you? You're very fast, and somebody's very fast and moving around you because they can move their legs, and they're so fast and moving around. He was so much older and much bigger. It was like, I can't move anymore that fast. But I don't need to move that fast. Why? Because I know this is my circle for them to be able to engage impact with me. Within this circle, I can move. So, I don't need to chase you. I'll just wait for you to get here. And when you get within my circle, I can deal with you. Because I'm so fast with that. Because I can do this. Empower the things that you can do. And that's the part. Sometimes you don't realize what you can do. You don't realize what it is you still have in you. Because you're so busy looking back of the things you used to be able to do. You're missing out on the things that you can do. You're missing out on the knowledge that you have found ways to adapt, improvise, and overcome. So that you can still do like things of the things you used to do. A change in perspective always helps. And that's why, that's my thought of when I look back, to look at the things that I used to be able to do, I try to make sure that it only empowers me and finds me ways to appreciate what I have and what I can still do. Doug Marcaida here. Enjoy this morning cup of coffee. Once again, and later today, if you have YouTube, and I appreciate some of you actually went to my YouTube channel. I thank you for that. And if you do go over there and you do subscribe to my channel on my YouTube and my Sharp Talk, please write there that you came from Morning Coffee, because I really appreciate it by doing these call-outs. If you're on YouTube, I'm trying to grow that channel to do other things. Doug Marcaida on YouTube and Sharp Talk with Tomas Solas. When you're able to get there, if you have your YouTube channel, please subscribe and comment that you came from the Morning Coffee and our Morning Coffee right here. I'm also on Instagram if you're there too. Would appreciate the like and subscriptions. There's a project I'm trying to do, and to be able to do that, I need some of your support. Thank you very much for being here this Sunday, and I'll talk to you soon.